Okay, so hi everyone. Thank you very much for joining us now in this second session of the Graduate School of Engineering. This is going to be a little bit more intimate, much closer everything I think than the large main room session that we have. So it's not webinar, it's just a regular Zoom meeting. You can ask questions in the chat room or later on during the Q&A session. And me and Nemo will try to reply to everything as much as we can. Okay, so let's start. I will start sharing my slides. I would like to introduce Kyushu University, especially the Graduate School of Engineering, to you now. You already had some information during the main session, so I'm gonna, some things might be double information. And you can see the beautiful campus, which I know you've seen in the main session, but I do love this campus picture so much because in the very back you can see Fukuoka City, the city center, which is really a beautiful city. And then you have the ocean and the mountains, and then you have our large campus. And our university, the engineering, Graduate School of Engineering, is mainly in the west zone in this building here. And but a lot of the other research facilities are around it. So you can enjoy and do your research here in this very nice environment. Okay. The content of our session today is I will do a little bit of general introduction about the Graduate School of Engineering. My name is Natalie Konomi, and I work at the International Education Support Center at the Graduate School of Engineering. And then we have the second part will be Nemo. He is a doctoral student in applied chemistry, and he will be talking about his experience as a doctoral student. And in part 3, we have our Q&A session, so you're free to ask questions here. Again, you can ask questions in the chat room, and we can go through those later as well. You did not have the history part in the main session, so you're going to get a little bit of history because I think it's important. Here you see the main building of our Kyushu University when it was built in 1911. And the good thing about this, or nice thing, is it started as a College of Engineering and College of Medicine. And our engineering faculty is the 4th oldest imperial college in Japan. So just something nice about the history. And this is a favorite picture of mine because I love the one person in it. I haven't met that person obviously in person, but you all might know that person. It's Professor Einstein and his wife. They visited in 1922 actually. And they did not visit Ito campus, obviously, because our campus was only finished in 2018. They visited the Hakozaki campus. But well, it's just a really nice picture and something that I always like to show. Okay, where are we? You should know that if you're listening to this session, but Kyushu University is located in the south of Japan on Kyushu Island. And here we are in the north of Kyushu Island in Fukuoka City. And we are very close to a lot of Asian neighbor countries, which is why we often call it the gateway to Asia. It's really quick to get around once COVID-19 is gone, okay? But it's very convenient to travel either for research or to your home countries or just for fun. So yes, it has a long history in merchandise, exchange, everything with our Asian countries. And since then, it's just spread it more and more. So it's a really nice place to live. Which leads me to the fact that it's one of the most livable cities in the world. It has been ranked like almost every year in the British magazine Monocle as one of the top 3 most livable cities in Fukuoka City. And here you see a number of pictures showing the traditional side of the city, and you have, of course, the modern high-tech part of the city. And if you like get on a bus or a train or drive a car, 30 minutes outside of the city, you have really these beautiful natural landscapes. A lot of them are not Fukuoka City, but actually Itoshima City. And Itoshima City is a small town, and Ito campus is located actually on both Fukuoka City and Itoshima City. And Itoshima City just last year was actually ranked top 3 of the most livable small towns in the world. So you get really everything when you come to Kyushu University. So yeah, just a little bit of PR, of course. About living expenses in Japan, you did hear something about that in the main session as well. The average monthly expenses of an international student in Japan, you can see on the right-hand side here in the red bar, about 82,000 Japanese yen. Now, the exchange rate here is a little bit old, so it's 82,000 Japanese yen. Good news, when you come to Fukuoka, to Kyushu area, it's 66,000 Japanese yen in average, a little bit cheaper, which is always good, right? Of course, it's much more expensive than other Asian countries, I assume, still cheaper than maybe other Western countries, but in general, Kyushu is a very good place to live, is the summary of what I'm trying to tell you here. If I had to give a summary or some key points of Kyushu University, I would put up these 5 that I list here on my slide. One is, of course, its history. So it was founded in 1911. And then the other point is that it's one of the premier national 7 universities, which means it's the 7 most prestigious universities in Japan, and it's still the top of the crop even nowadays. It is a large-scale comprehensive university with 18,700 students, which makes research so more fascinating because it's not just stuck to one area, but it's very interdisciplinary, and you can do a lot of research with other faculties together if you do joint programs as well. Ranking, people always ask about the ranking, and I can say with confidence that we're always somewhere in the 0.5% of the world's top ranking. So that's also a quite good number. And we are a member of Research University 11, which is also a very, well, it's the top universities in Japan, plus some top research institutes abroad, which do joint research programs. So again, it's very interdisciplinary, and we're not only stuck to Kyushu or Ito campus, of course. You get the chance to work with many, many other researchers when you come into a graduate school in Japan. We do have famous prominent alumni, of course, and I personally like our Professor Wakata a lot. Well, he's a visiting professor. He is an astronaut, and he was actually the first Asian commander of the International Space Station. He has been to space 4 to 5 times in a length of 11 months. And yeah, just kind of cool to have such a famous person from our university. Let me briefly introduce the main areas or some of the focus areas in research of our university. We are a research intensive university. Some areas that we focus on, there are a lot of more, but these 4 are very famous. One is the International Institute for Carbon Neutral Energy Research, the ICNIR. Well, this is research about energy to reduce carbon emission, just as an example. Then, of course, very popular is the Next Generation Fuel Cell Research Center. Here it's about, for example, hydrogen cars. And then the other one would be OPERA, the Center for Organic Photonics and Electronics Research, which is research on OLEDs, so organic light emitting diodes, for example. And then we would have the Research Institute of Applied Mechanics, RIAM, which is research about mechanics and applications related to, well, basically anything related to the fields of earth, environmental science, and energy as well. Just to give you an idea, these are some of the 4 main areas, but not showing at least like all of it. Here you can see the area in hydrogen research. We do have a lot of facilities all over the campus. The large building that you see in the middle is the faculty of engineering, the graduate school and undergraduate school of engineering in the West Zone. And you see there's so many other facilities around for research in the hydrogen area. So we have a hydrogen station actually, which we unfortunately are not allowed to use for personal purposes. So it wouldn't make sense to buy a hydrogen car at the moment, but we can drive around. You sometimes see hydrogen cars driving around on campus. Then, of course, in the environment area, we here have research, for example, in the wind lens turbine section. These are very new, very compact wind turbines, wind lens turbines. So this is some strong area. You will actually see some on the mountain on campus on our university. Geothermal energy or organic solar cell, and again, hybrid fuel cell, of course, is another topic. Then, as I mentioned as well, in chemistry, organic EL, OLEDs, I did mention that, so I'm just going to show you the slide, and you can look at it for a second. And then we also have the area here in human care and biomechanics. Here we'd have, for example, the walking assistive suit or the robotic bed for preventing bed sore in the medical field. My personal favorite is a blood flow sensor chip. I haven't tried anything of that, but that's important research, so it sounds very high-tech and interesting. It's not my area, so okay, I'm gonna go next. Research facilities. Once you come to our university and you get the chance to study here, you can use in your area very high-tech and top-class research facilities. For example, the ultra high voltage TM. There are only 6 all over Japan, just as an example. So once you come, you really get the chance to do hardcore research, which is very important, I think, if you want to do your master or PhD degree here. So let me introduce the international graduate program now, okay? This was all just a general introduction of the faculty. So in total, at our faculty or at graduate school, we have 12 international master and 11 international doctoral programs. Our university, our graduate school of engineering has 11 departments, which are listed here. Applied chemistry, chemical engineering materials, civil engineering, naval architecture and ocean engineering, earth resources engineering, cooperative program for resources engineering. And we have the applied quantum physics and nuclear engineering, mechanical engineering, of course, the hydrogen energy systems, and the aeronautics and astronautics. And in each of these departments, you can do a master degree or doctoral degree in English language. Except for in the cooperative program for resources engineering, here it's only a master program, no doctoral program. Okay, so if you have something that is of interest here, you can, for example, look for a professor who could be your supervisor in that area. Yeah, just some pictures on students doing a little bit of research at the facilities. Now about enrollment and tuition fee, you did get that information already in the main session, as far as I understand. The enrollment fee and the annual tuition fee is listed here. Now, what is important is these fees go for all national universities. So it doesn't matter if you want to go to Tokyo University or Hokkaido University or Kyushu University, they're all the same in this area. All national universities have the same fee. If you want to apply as a research student, that means before entering, for example, a master or doctoral program, you can come a few months ahead and enter as a research student, then everything gets a little bit cheaper maybe. Well, not really cheaper, but at the same time, you don't get a degree or you don't get your credits, but you can get used to life in Japan maybe as a research student. Okay. Also, as mentioned before in the main session, for the annual tuition fee, there are tuition waivers. So there is a possibility for half exemption of tuition fee, but sometimes also for a full exemption, but I think most common is actually the half exemption, to be honest. Okay, and what are the admission dates or the application periods for you to know? It's basically every year the same, which is why I'm giving you just an overall date information here. For the international course for master's and doctoral program, the October. So if you want to study in Japan in October, usually the deadline for your application would be May or June. And if you want to study here in April, it would be January. And this also goes for the research students. Okay. Now this is for the international courses where everything's provided in English language. Okay. So these dates are important for you if you're interested in applying. To be more detailed, some dates here, if you actually want to study already here in October this year, then the dates of application would be in May, and the dates of examination would be June 7 to 11. So one day during these dates, you would have an entrance examination, which probably is online. And depending on the program, it might just be an oral examination or a written exam. Then the announcement of your results will be on June 25, and then you can start with enrollment procedures from August 30th. And then if there's no COVID-19, or if you're vaccinated, or whatever rules the government sets up, I hope you will be able to actually come to Japan in October. So keeping my fingers crossed for everyone here. What do you have to do? What kind of documents do you need when you apply for our programs? It's very similar for the master and doctorate program. So I'm just going to give you some basic information here, which you can also find on the website. First of all, most important, you have to get in contact with a possible supervisor or academic advisor. And then once that is settled, you would have to contact the chairperson of the international program via email and send in all the necessary documents, your application form, your examination admission card. You might have to register for some optional subjects depending on the program. So that's one thing you also might have to do. Of course, we need your official academic transcripts and your graduation certificate. And you probably need some proof of English as well. For the doctoral program, it's very similar, basically the same things. Just in addition, you need your research achievements, a copy of your master thesis, of course, and a research plan. So what do you want to do during your doctoral studies? Scholarship information is also very similar to the main session, as you already heard. So I'm going to actually introduce the most popular one and the most competitive one, but actually the best scholarship you can ever get if you get it. It's the Max Japanese Government Scholarship. It's a full scholarship. They cover your tuition, your enrollment fee, the round trip air ticket, and then you have a monthly allowance of 154 or 155,000 Japanese yen, depending on the master or doctorate program. So you can apply by filling out the scholarship application part, but you also, of course, have to check with your embassies in your home countries. But actually, the engineering faculty at Kyushu University also have a number of other private scholarships available. You can check them if you Google Kyushu University Scholarship, you get a link as well and many information. And you can also check our engineering website. Here you also get a lot of information, which is regularly updated on deadlines for various scholarships. So definitely give it a try, okay? Housing, there is accommodation, of course, available on campus. We have 3 regular dormitories. They can be with single rooms or shared rooms, couple rooms as well. And then we have the so-called Ito Harmony House, which is on campus. But our campus is very large and it's like at the very end of the campus. So it's about a 15-minute walk, maybe, to the engineering faculty. So the rent is between 16,000 and 26,000 Japanese yen, depending on the size of the room. Okay. Usually you can stay for half a year. Sometimes it's possible to extend to up to 1 year, and then the students would move off campus. And there's a lot of housing available around campus, and some people travel in from Fukuoka City, for example. Okay, this is very general information from my side. If you want more information, you can, of course, check our website and contact the Student Affairs Division as well. They give you a lot of information if you want some more information. And I will hand over now to Nemo, I think already. So Nemo will be introducing his experience as a doctoral student now at Kyushu University. And then after that, we'll come to our Q&As.